Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I am so excited for today's video because we won. We got a Sza Sophomore album this year. I'm so excited. I didn't think it was gonna come out this year. I was thinking maybe January, maybe February. I didn't think we were gonna get it in December, but I'm so glad that we did. So I was really thinking about how I was gonna structure this album review. And initially, I was going to go kind of like song by song. That's until I saw that the track list had 23 songs on it. So while I'm not going to do a song by song review, what I am going to do is give my overall thoughts on the album and kind of analyze it in terms of its quality and how I felt about it personally. And then I'm also going to go in terms of songs that stuck out to me. And I have about 12 or 13. So I was kind of thinking, I was like, maybe, I'm not Sza, but I was like, if I was making an album, if I was making SOS, these are the tracks that I would include. So we're going to do it that way. So let's go ahead and get into it. So when I first reviewed Shirt a couple weeks ago, I said I was hoping that SOS didn't end up sounding like Control B-sides, and I'm glad to report that it doesn't. It sounds like post-Control Sza rather than Control Part 2, which I completely love. Sza uses samples and callbacks to her past songs, but she succeeds in making them just a reference rather than making it feel like SOS is an album that's just riding off the success of Control. But I also love that SOS doesn't act like Control didn't exist either. Some of the songs like Used, Notice Me, and Open Arms sound like they could have been on Control, but I don't really care because not only do I not know when those songs were recorded, but it's also not like the entire album sounds that way, so I feel like it's more of a callback to Control. Thematically, SOS is a lot darker. I feel like the main themes in the album are ego and self-destruction. For half the album, it feels like Sza's on the warpath, and she doesn't necessarily care because it feeds her ego and makes her feel better. And I don't care either because it's relatable and she's owning it instead of running from it. Most of the songs do clock in at around the 3-minute mark, which is great because they feel like whole songs. Some songs are on the shorter side though, but they're still like 2.5 minutes, so not too short. I also love how Sza mixes it up on the album and gives us different tempos and different genres, but they also sound like Sza. I never felt like she was trying to do a gimmick or ride a trend on any of her songs, which I feel like is rare since a lot of albums that have come out recently sound so influenced by whatever music is trending or is popular that year. So now, like I said earlier, I do want to get into some specific songs on the album. The ones I'm going to talk about were my favorites and the standouts for me, and I honestly felt that these songs alone could have composed a strong album. I don't hate any of the songs in SOS, but some to me did feel like filler, or I felt like there was another song on the album that more or less expressed the same themes in a bit better or more creative sort of way. So the first track on SOS is of course the title track SOS, and I think to me it serves as more of an opener of the album, and I think that's what Sza intended, of course. And it's dramatic, it's demanding, and I think it lets us know pretty quickly that Sza is not here to play nice with us on this album. Next, we have Kill Bill. Also, if y'all see me like glancing down, it's because I wrote notes. Yes, I did write notes on SOS because I had things to say. But anyway, our next track is Kill Bill, and it sounds kind of old schooly and cartoonish, almost like you're inside someone's head. And I'm sure because the title obviously makes a reference to the Tarantino movie, that was intentional on Sza's part. And I think it's, perfect for a song in which Sza is kind of making irrational decisions, and she's contemplating killing her ex because in her mind that's better than being alone. Later on in the song, we find out that she actually goes from contemplating it to fulfilling it and doing it. And she's like, you know what, I'm gonna take the consequences. I know it was a terrible decision. I'm not as mature as I thought I was, and I'm still jealous and I still want my revenge. And I think a lot of us can relate to that. Maybe, not the murder part, but... Production-wise, Seek and Destroy to me sounds kind of like older Sza. When I was listening to it for the first few times, it kind of actually reminded me of Warm Winds. And I think Seek and Destroy confirms kind of early on that this album is about self-sabotage and is about self-destruction. And while we're gonna get an open and honest album from Sza, we might not necessarily be getting one that's focused on growth and focused on change. Some standout lyrics for me are, now that I've ruined everything, I cannot complain. Now that I've ruined everything, I'm free. And all the hate I know is used to heal and fuel my soul. I love the more hip-hop vibes on Low. When I first heard it, I was kind of like, ooh, this kind of sounds like a Metro Boomin beat. I looked it up and it's not. I I feel like on this song, SZA kind of lets us know that she's out to get her lip back. Like when I heard it, I was like, ooh, SZA trying to get her licks back. And then later on in the album, she does confirm that. So I guess I was right to think that. You know, the song kind of just gives like, you hurt me, so I'm about to hurt you back vibes, you know? And it's about moving messily, but it is about moving messily in silence. And while I was listening to Low, I think my primary thought was like, damn, this song would sound good, like really good with a Weeknd feature. And we'll never know if that was intended. Most likely it wasn't, but I do know that SZA had said that a lot of the features that she wanted on the album unfortunately couldn't happen because the artists didn't turn their features in on time, which I think is disrespectful, but... So next we got Blind, and SZA teased the song when the shirt video dropped, and I already knew that I was gonna like the full version of Blind. And I like how in the song SZA talks about how she in a sense kind of does like dysfunction, and she does admittedly deal with toxic people because they validate her. She also talks about how she hates how her reputation precedes her in a lot of senses, and how she's treated based on her reputation even though she does have a lot of love to give. And for her, and for a lot of us, it's easier to kind of be blind to or ignore this cognitive dissonance rather than like do the necessary and emotional work to reconcile it. Even singing like the song and the chorus, like the way she sings Blind, it kind of to me sounds like a kid like putting their fingers in their ears and trying to like drown out all the noises and opinions and voices around them. And in a sense, it also kind of sounds like angelic and entering the gates of heaven. Like it's very much giving, I'm in my own world and that is how I cope and that is how I protect myself. Gone Girl to me was another lyrically strong song and one that really resonated with me, and I was like, you know, this is really good for where I'm at in life right now. And I like how SZA talks about how it is hard to grow with people that you love if you know that they're not necessarily in the right space to do the work and the growing that you're trying to do. And she also says how she's trying to grow without hating the process, and I 1000% can relate to that. When I was listening to Gone Girl, it actually kind of reminded me of Slide Away by Miley Cyrus, both in the lyrical content as well as the melodies, more specifically, I should say, in the chorus. Okay, Smoking on My XPac was such a fun one, and I think this is the closest that we get to an interlude on SOS, and it also kind of sounds like an intermission. I was so surprised to find out that Smoking on My XPac and SOS, the first track on the album, were both produced by Jay Versace. He ate. I love Jay Versace, so I was really impressed by this one. For me, the standout lyrics are, them hoe accusations weak, them bitch accusations true. Again, SZA is telling us that she does not have to answer to us and she does not owe us niceness. Ghost in the Machine is probably my second favorite song on the album, and the whole song kind of just sounds like this weird, eerie, out-of-body experience, and I think that that's very much supported by SZA talking about how she doesn't feel like a human anymore. Throughout the song, she's not really asking for love or attention or empathy, but just asking to be treated with humanity and asking to be treated like a human being. And I think what probably inspired the song is being famous, because I'm sure when you're famous, people don't necessarily look at you like a human being who, you know, has thoughts and feelings just the way normal people do. The song's title, Ghost from the Machine, is actually a real phrase that has a meaning. Ghost from the Machine describes the concept of your mind, which is the ghost, existing separate from your body, which is the machine. SZA kind of alludes to this directly when she says that robots can sleep, but her mind can never power down, because in a sense, if you're a human being with thoughts and feelings and stress and emotions, there is kind of no off button to those thoughts and you have to work through them. Whereas like a robot, yes, it might be working all the time, but it doesn't have like all those thoughts and stressors going on in their mind. So that way when they're powered down or resting, they can truly do that, while a lot of humans can't. The Phoebe Bridgers feature was really unexpected, but I love it. It really added to the song, and she kind of sounds like this sort of spirit who's come to visit near the end of the song. And I think part of what also kind of made me think that the song is about fame and not being treated like an actual human being anymore is actually one of her lyrics where she says, "Some of my friends are on my payroll." And even more towards the end of the song, I don't know if this will make sense, but it feels like you're inside of a simulation. Like you're already inside of a song, which is a simulated experience, but even towards the end, it's even more meta and unrealistic than just being a song. Like it kind of sounds like you're in like some weird sort of like nature dome where it's like not actually nature and you're inside of a glass case and they're just kind of giving you the sights and giving you the birds chirping so you feel like you're outside, but you're really not. And I do kind of feel like being famous could be interpreted that way, where you are living as a person, but you're not getting the genuine human experience. I think they did a lot on this song, and it was really good. I think they executed it perfectly. F2F is another great one. I did not expect rock Sza on SOS, but boy, am I so glad we got it. The song, like, it almost kind of sounds like at the end of like a 2000s coming of age movie where the credits are about to play, but the actual content of the song is not at all about that. We do also get a Smoking on My XPac reference in the song, and I love when artists kind of make reference to their other songs, whether they're on the album or they're just previous songs in their discography. F2F is kind of one of those songs where it's like, you know, I'm doing stupid things, I'm in my immature bag, but I acknowledge it, and sometimes it's just like that. Like, the song is about, oh, I slept with this guy because I really miss you, and while it's dumb and while it's immature, I know most of us have a friend who's done that, and if you don't have a friend who's done that, you're probably the person who's done that. So it is a relatable song, and it's a fun one to listen to. Like, I'll definitely be screaming this song in my car. Okay, Conceited is that girl. Conceited is my favorite song on the album. It is my new anthem. I've heard it like 10,000 times since Friday. When I heard it the first time, I was like, not Sza writing me a song. Not Sza writing a song for me. I love it. I love it. And I think it's about independence. It's about confidence. It's about not apologizing. And I love the fact that Sza's like, I'm fine with burning bridges. And I don't think she means that in a messy way, but in a way that's like, you know, I'm completely fine with cutting off people, with cutting off situations, with cutting off relationships that no longer serve me. I'm fine with burning that bridge with someone who doesn't even give me thought or decency in any sort of way. And I think that's the vibe. I really love this song. I know y'all are gonna get mad at me for saying this, but I like the song, and you guys know I like the song. But to me, it sounds like Intentions by Justin Bieber. I think that's the name of the song, but that's what it reminded me of the first few times I heard it. So some standout lyrics for me on Conceited are, I got no reason to depend on you, no reason to make friends, I'm cool, and I've been burning bridges, I do it over again because I'm betting on me. My only critique is that I wish the song was longer because I love it so much, but that's my only critique. I feel like Special pairs really well with Conceited. It's kind of like the thoughts and realizations and work that you have to go through before you get to the mindset that you have in a song like Conceited. It's about realizing that not only that people are not treating you in a way that kind of reflects your worth, but also realizing that in a sense that you've allowed that, and it's like, okay, how do I eliminate that? How do I move forward now that I've come to this realization? I think Special is one of the most reflective songs in the album, and I think it kind of lays the groundwork or the context for some of the more kind of selfish or self-sabotaging or self-destructive behaviors that Sza kind of discusses and talks about throughout the rest of SOS. I think Too Late is another one of those songs where Sza lets us know very clearly that she knows exactly who she is, exactly what her flaws are, and while she's aware of those things, that doesn't necessarily mean that she's in the space to change or wants to change. She literally says in the song that she won't learn her lesson. She also basically says that the time where she feels the most loved and paid attention to and acknowledged in her relationship is when she's like having fighting and arguments and like yelling matches with her partner, which I'm sure a lot of people can relate to. Some standout lyrics for me in this one are, we both dangerous, moving so close we combust, and showdown with you, nobody hear me like you do. Tell me that's not self-destructive. It's self-aware, but it's also self-destructive. I think in Far, we're supposed to get the sense that Sza's kind of just done with it all and she's kind of given up. A lot of the rejections that she's faced have made her feel kind of small, and now she kind of just wants to not be social and wants to be left to her own devices and make her bad decisions alone. She's emotionally distant and she's done being taken advantage of, she's done being lied to, she's done being played the fool, and as she says herself, she's put her feelings on layaway. I think the production is very chill and more laid back in this song, and I think it works with kind of the whole vibe of just being done with it and over it. Like, Sza's letting us know that she has no more to give. You're not getting any tricks, you know? You're just getting, I'm done. And I don't mean that in a shady way. I mean it in a way where she was smart and intentional about the production reflecting the theme of the song. Forgiveless, it was the perfect track to end on. I feel like the last song in an album should always give us the takeaway and let us know what we're supposed to be left with after listening to a project, and Forgiveless does that. We get more of the classic hip-hop vibes, and this is the song where Sza says that she is out to get her lick back, consequences be damned. And I think the song lets us know that throughout all of the reflecting, throughout all of the acknowledgements, Sza has a big ego. She wants her revenge, and she's fine with that. And you know what? I'm fine with that too. And I love songs and artists who they can just be honest and admit that and make a project about that and not try to idealize themselves and their intentions and make themselves come off as better than they really are for whatever reason. Like, this was a very honest body of work. And I think Forgiveless is the perfect just sort of bow at the end to tie all that together. I was worried at first that I wouldn't find SOS as relatable as I found Control, but I do. In some ways, I find it more relatable than Control because, like I said earlier, this album sounds less idealistic and less optimistic. And I feel like it's a perfect sort of progression because Control came out my freshman year of college, and like Sza, I'm a much different person with a different mindset than I was 5 years ago. I honestly can't answer whether I like SOS better than Control, and I think it's because for me, they're thematically two different albums that remind me of two different eras in my life. I do kind of want to say that I like SOS more, but I think it's biased because, like I said, it's just more reflective of where I am now. I will say, though, that I think Control was a more cohesive project, and that, of course, is in part because it's shorter. Lyrically, I do also think that SOS is stronger in some aspects, but it would have benefited from some editing. While I acknowledge Control is probably shorter because Sza didn't realize she was going to have label issues, I do think it's pretty evident that there are some fillers on SOS. And I've said it before, and I know you guys are going to be mad at me for it, but I don't like when old songs are included on albums. Good Days and I Hate You don't need to be on SOS in my opinion. I'm sure it's to boost streaming numbers and it's because it's Sza's first album since she released those songs, but still, at certain times, I'm okay with some singles being album lists if they were released forever ago. Overall, I loved SOS, well worth the wait in my opinion. I think SOS was also the perfect title for this album. SOS is a distress signal and Sza is very much distressed in this album. And also, colloquially, SOS can mean stuck on stupid. And while I don't think that Sza's stupid and I don't think that she's calling herself stupid in this album, I think that it kind of makes sense in the terms of, I'm repeating these same patterns. I'm participating in behaviors that I know are wrong and immature. So I can kind of see it that way. I don't know if that was intentional, but that's kind of what I thought of after digesting the album and thinking, okay, what is this project about? I don't think the lack of features hurt this album at all. And I think it might have actually helped to have less features on the album, even though that wasn't Sza's initial intention. And I think that because most of the songs are so introspective and so personal, sometimes it is difficult to have another artist or someone from the outside sort of add to your perspective on your own experiences. So I don't think the lack of features hurt the album. And I was also very satisfied with the features that we did get on the album. Overall, I think I would give SOS an 8 or an 8.5 out of 10. I love the album, and my only critique was like some of the songs that I felt were filler, and to me, at the end of the day, that's mostly just a nitpick because I don't think it really hurt the album, and I don't think any of the songs on the album were bad or unlistenable, and I'm sure a lot of them were some people's favorites on the album. So to me, complete solid body of work. Well done, Sza. But yes, those are my thoughts on SOS. I know a lot of you guys wanted to know what I think, so now I also want to know what you guys think. And I'm excited to start reading like other people's reviews and thoughts on the album because I did want to go into this like purely from my own perspective and my own opinions and my own thoughts. So I haven't read any reviews. I try to stay away from the tweets and things about it because I just wanted to give you guys my own opinions on SOS. So now I'm gonna get into other people's opinions. Before I go, it's that time again to talk about Try Treats. I love Try Treats because they let you try snacks from all over the world. With Try Treats, you get a monthly snack box containing foods from a different country. So in each box, you do get a description card kind of just telling you what exactly is in your treat box, since a lot of these snacks are probably things that you've never seen or heard of or tasted before. You also get an information card letting you know about the country that your treats are from. So this month our treats are from Italy, so we've got some information and facts about Italy. And then I also noticed on the back that there is a pasta recipe. I don't really cook, but you know what? I might just have to get into it for Italy. Okay, one of my favorites this month were these sour cream and onion Tuscan chips. Delicious. They kind of give pita chip but better, and I wasn't really a sour cream and onion girl when I was younger, but I am now, and so these are perfect for me. They're also really good with like dips or hummuses. I put mine with red pepper hummus and delicious. Another fave was these vanilla wafers. I'm not sure what we call them in America. I don't know if they're just called vanilla wafers. Like, I've had them before, but I don't know what we call them. I know they're not called Nilla wafers because that's something completely different, but I'm not sure. But anyways, these are very good. I had to save this one so I could show you guys because I actually ate the other one. Way better than the American ones. I highly recommend these. Another favorite of mine was this sort of chocolate cone. I've never seen anything like this before, and it's like a cool concept. I've already opened it kind of. And so at the top, there's like these sort of M&M candies. Obviously, it comes with more. I've already eaten some of them. It comes with more. And then, like, once you unravel it or unwrap it, I don't know why I said unravel, it's like a chocolate little cone. I think that's the coolest thing ever. And I love chocolate, so this is like perfect for me. So if you would love to try some international treats for yourself, or if you would love to gift some to a friend or family member for the holidays, you can go ahead and use my code Naomi Cannibal to get 15% off your first treat box. And when you do, be sure to let me know your favorite international snacks. Don't forget to let me know your favorite songs on SOS and your overall thoughts on the album. Thank you dolls so much for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe so that you can stick around for more. If you'd love to become a channel member, you can click the link in the description of this video. I'll see you dolls very soon with another album that you guys have been begging me to talk about. So stay tuned. I love you very much. Bye-bye.